Hi, I'm Sister Geralyn Schmidt, and you're listening to Musings from a Catholic Evangelist. Some time ago, I went on vacation with my sister in Cape May, and we were getting ready to go out to breakfast when our neighbors in the room next to us had two little daughters, two little girls, standing on the balcony, singing at the top of their lungs the Ave Maria. It was beautiful to hear these two little children's voices giving praise to God as a morning prayer as we got prepared for breakfast. I couldn't help but thinking that story as I finished the series on the servants of God's, the blesseds, the saints, and the venerables who served and worked in our diocese to make us holy. These are the foundational individuals who had an eye for God and brought it to the real life. The last one on the list is Mary Brindle. Mary Brindle was a 15-year, as we begin, she moved in Mechanicsburg to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania when she was 15 years old. Her mother was Catholic, her father was a Presbyterian. She was one of the original settlers in Mechanicsburg, and she and her mother were the only Catholics in town. So this is like purely pioneer life. And when you think of it now, it's like, really? Holy cow. Her story and her diaries are in the archives of our diocese. It was awesome to actually see her handwritten journals about her life in Mechanicsburg, which is incredible. She would write on a regular basis to Bishop McGovern about building a church in Mechanicsburg. Unfortunately, there were few and far between of bridges that crossed the Susquehanna because it was so wide. So the only bridge in order to cross made to go to Mechanicsburg a 3-day horseback ride. So a priest to be scheduled, there were so few Catholics in Mechanicsburg, it was pioneer town. So Bishop McGovern kind of, yeah, we don't have enough Catholics for a priest to do that full time. But every once in a while, he would go over it and have Mass to the few Catholics in Mechanicsburg. It turns out that Mary Brindle was married, and she was, one story, she was gardening. And as she was gardening, she was singing the Ave Maria. And the gentleman stopped her and said to her, "Are you Catholic?" And she said, "Yes, so am I." So, ooh, she's got more than one in Mechanicsburg. So there was a group of individuals, maybe less than a dozen, 5 or 7, who actually began to petition Bishop McGovern to build a church. Bishop McGovern bought a piece of land, and they laid a foundation, and he wanted it to name St. Catharines. Bishop McGovern died. Bishop Shannon then said, oh no. Since it's Mechanicsburg, let's name it St. Joseph. And with Mary's help, St. Joseph became a church. Now, at first, there was only monthly Mass. But Mary Brindle was all about catechesis. She would gather every Sunday, and she would have liturgy of the Word. She would teach the children and adults catechesis, the catechism, and the faith. They would pray together, and every month the priest would go over from the cathedral. And sometimes Bishop Shannon actually did that himself, went over to Mechanicsburg to actually say that Mass. Incredible to think how one person can change an entire area. At her death, there was only 15 Catholics, and she asked if every person Catholic at her funeral would sit in a separate pew to make the group look larger. Wow. Like, wow. So St. Joseph celebrated the 40th anniversary of their existence. Bishop Leach actually blessed the parish area, the parish meeting room, as called Brindle Hall. So if you ever wonder why the bottom part of St. Joseph's Mechanicsburg is called Brindle Hall, that's because of Mary Brindle's vision and her love of the church. And from St. Joseph Mechanicsburg, splintered 2 more parishes in Mechanicsburg. That's how many Catholics have grown. The population has grown since Moriarty Brindle came there. We have St. Catherine Drexel and St. Elizabeth Ann Seton as the mission churches to the parent church of St. Joseph. So, incredible to think how the effect of one person has on individuals. Don't ever, ever, ever think that whatever you do in kindness and mercy goes unwarranted, goes unnoticed, because it does. And you might not see it on this side of eternity, but you will in the next. You're listening to Musings from a Catholic Evangelist, and I'm Sister Geralyn.